Hey, this is Brett Martin. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm coming live to you from my closet. It seems like the last 2 or 3 videos I've done are from my closet. But anyway, I want to talk to you about how to sell merchant cash advance. And then I want to tell you about the markets I use to become the top producer in this industry. So anyway, I got no script out here. I got no script in front of me. I like to do this stuff impromptu. I've never been an actor, quote unquote. So bear with me if I go off and blow it here and there. It is what it is. It's not the end of the world. My heart's in a great place. I think you'll learn a ton from this if you hang in there. Grab a beer, grab some wine, grab an apple juice, grab your water, grab a bong, grab a cigarette, if you need some cocaine or some methamphetamines, get her done right now and get ready, because I'm going to rock and roll and take you through, a little bit of a yo-yo of what I went through and what it's like to sell this stuff. Now, first off, I want to tell you right now, you do not sell merchant cash advance. You tell them. You don't sell it, you tell them. You don't sell merchant cash advances, you tell merchant cash advances. What do I mean by that? Well, first and foremost, listen. The bottom line is this. You don't want to leave yourself in a situation where you're in a closed-ended environment or closed-ended question environment where you're saying to them, do you want to do this with me or not? So what you're going to do is you're just going to tell them what you do. Hey, my name's Brenda. Hey, my name's Bruce. Hey, my name is Tammy. Hey, my name is Suzette. I'm with a company called Mom and Pop Business Funding, and the company I represent specializes in unsecured working capital for whatever market you're going after, let's say liquor stores. We go up to $1 million and we close these loans in 1 to 2 days, oftentimes the same day as the application. I was simply calling today. Here it is. Here's your close right here. Pay attention. You're not going to say, do you want to do a loan or not? You're going to say, I was simply calling today to leave my contact information with you. And that way, in the future, if you ever need any working capital, you've got my contact information. You don't say, I simply wanted to see if you want to do a business loan or not. Now, that's it. That's all there is to it when it comes to getting involved with telemarketing. Now, going door to door is exactly the same thing. You take the flyer in for a clothing store. You take the flyer in for an ice cream shop. You take the flyer in for a manufacturing facility or an exercise equipment facility, or I got gun stuff in the background. You can see my closet. There's 22 ammo. You can see my fly fishing gear here, right here, some of it. You can see my duck hunting calls there. So let's say we go into a sporting goods store, small sporting goods store, and you go up to the manager and say, hey, my name's Brett Martin. That's what you're going to do. You're going to find someone and you're going to start in. Don't ask to see the manager. Don't ask to see the decision maker. Don't ask to see the owner. Start right in. Grab your flyer, walk right up to somebody that looks like it's management, looks like it's, bubble-headed bleach blonde out on the floor, whatever, some guy with nose rings and earrings and tattoos. Trust me, he's sitting on millions, or she's sitting on millions, or he, she, they are sitting on millions. Don't discount these people, or they're related to the people that are sitting on millions. Okay, or that are the owners, at least, the decision makers. So you're going to go in with your flyer and you're just going to hand it to them, right to their gut with your predominant hand. That's a good word, predominant hand. And your offhand, what you're going to do is you're going to point your finger as you say, my name is Brett Martin. I'm with Mom and Pop Business Funding. You point at the logo on the flyers. You're pointing it out at them, point it at them upside down so they can see it. You see it, it's upside down. For them, it's right side up. You can see here, I work with Mom and Pop Business Funding, and the company I represent specializes in unsecured working capital for sporting goods stores. Now, somewhere right in here, she's going to interrupt you. He's going to interrupt you. They, he, she, they are going to interrupt you, and they're going to say, oh, I'm not the owner. You need to talk to Pamela. Well, guess what? You're going to get introduced to Pamela because you put a crown on that person. You crowned them for all intents and purposes. You made them feel like they were important. You didn't say, hey, is your boss around? That makes them feel like a subordinate. You're going to make them feel important. So they're going to say to you, oh, you want to talk to my mom, or hey, you want to talk to my dad, or hey, you want to talk to my uncle, or hey, you want to talk to my grandma or my grandfather, follow me. And this is what I call a prestige recommendation or introduction. So they're going to take you back to that person in the back room, or back to that person maybe in a shelving area, or maybe they're overstaging some, I don't know, group of coolers, the most recent coolers. I saw coolers the other day. I think they were like, I don't know what it was. My God, 600 ounces or whatever they are for Yeti. This thing was the size of the back of a pickup truck, So they're setting up those displays, whatever. And the daughter, the granddaughter, the grandson, he, she, they introduce you. Now, hey, this is Brett Martin. He'd like to talk to you. You start right in. You hand the flyer to grandpa. You hand the flyer to grandma, to aunt, uncle, friend, family member, to boss, whatever. And you just start in. Again, my name's Brett Martin. I'm with Mom and Pop Business Funding, the company I represent. They're going to give you this time. They're not going to say, get out of here. They're going to give you this time. So you just say, my name's Brett Martin. I'm with Mom and Pop Business Funding, as you can see right here. You don't say, as you see right here. You just point at the logo, and they see it. And now they're following along. You can remove this offhand. You've got your predominant hand holding the flyer. They're following along. You see it in their eyes and their body language. They're going to give you that 30 seconds to 45 seconds. And the company I represent specializes in unsecured working capital. We go up to $1 million and close these loans. We specialize in loans for sporting goods stores. We close these loans in 1 to 2 days, or let me start over. My name is Brett Martin. I'm with Mom and Pop Business Funding, and the company I represent specializes in unsecured working capital for sporting goods stores. There we go. And as you can see right here, we close these loans in 1 to 2 days, oftentimes the same day as the application. And I simply wanted to drop off the flyer, and that way in the future, if you ever needed any working capital, you've got my contact information. And sure enough, they'll take the flyer from you. But if you say to them, and I wanted to see if you want to do a loan or not, that forces them into a close-ended question or close-ended environment where they have to say yes or no and give you a close-ended answer like yes or no. So you're not going to want to do that. So that's how you go door to door. That's how you telemarket. Now, Chamber of Commerce, you're just going to hold your hand up in the air with the flyer like so, up way high up in the air. When they give you the microphone, you got the microphone in your offhand, predominant hand, you're holding it up in the air like so. Hey, my name's Brett Martin. I'm with Mom and Pop Business Funding. The company I represent specializes in unsecured working capital for small business owners. We go up to $1 million. We close these loans the same day as the application, oftentimes, if not in 1 to 2 days. You can see I blew it there. Keep going, though. When in hell, like Winston Churchill says, keep on going. And in the event any of you wanted any working capital for your business or a flyer, meet me afterwards. And you can grab the flyer from us, and that way you have our contact information in the event you ever need us in the future. That's how you approach a Chamber of Commerce. Now, the thing about the Chamber of Commerce is you can join your Chamber of Commerce for a fee, but I'd rather see you go for free. And you should go for free at least 2 or 3 times. So what you do is you just call the local your local Chamber of Commerce, and you just say, hey, I was thinking about maybe joining. I've never been to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, or I was at a Chamber of Commerce meeting 15 years ago, 21 years ago. I'm new to the area. I've only been in this area 3 or 4 years, whatever your story is. Tell them your story. I was thinking about joining. I was wondering if I could come to a meeting and see what it's like. Sure, no problem. That's what they say to you. And then they set a flyer aside, or they set a ticket aside for you, whatever, something along those lines that allows you to get in for free at the next meeting. And they'll tell you that it will be at the front in the check-in area. And so you just grab your pass, you register, and in you go. Now, the beauty of this is, since you're new and you're a guest, they're going to give you a little longer period with that microphone than those that have been there for some years, okay? So Chamber of Commerce is a great way to go. Now, as far as what you say to them afterwards, if they come up to you and say, hey, I'm interested, I'd like to talk to you more, You just say, hey, I've got 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. How about we meet up later? I'll give you a call, or how about you give me a call later, whichever one it is, okay? And we could talk then, but don't get caught up in a situation where you're talking to them there at the meeting, because I can tell you no matter what, you're going to be in a situation where there's going to be far more than one person interested at the Chamber of Commerce. Now, you know those areas I talked about, like Costco. Don't forget about Costco. Take a white piece of paper, 8.5 by 11 inches. Grab a ream of it in a bag or in its wrapping from Office Max, Office Depot, Staples. $7, $8, $9, $10 for 250 to 500 pieces of paper. White copier paper. Get the cheapest copier paper you can get. And at the top of it, at the very top, you just write the word business all the way across. Underneath it, you write the word loans. And down at the very bottom, or right below that, you write the word fast. And down at the very bottom, you put your phone number. Nothing else. No name. No company name. You don't need your name. Just business loans fast. Business all the way across. Loans all the way across. Fast all the way across. 3 separate lines. And you tuck that underneath their windshield wiper. And I can tell you, we used to have a ball, my kids and I, at Costco. Oftentimes I'd get calls at Costco and parking garages while we were still there. Very, very, very common. While you're still working on handing out those flyers underneath the windshield wipers. So obviously you're going to have to pick the right time of day. My recommendation is that you pick the first part of the day, because the early bird gets the worm, and those type of business owners do exist, and you're going to want to contact those. And then go towards the end of the day, that 4:30 to 5:30 hour, maybe 6 o'clock, and you're going to see the parking lot rammed full at those two periods of the day. Now, you've also got Craigslist. You know all about Craigslist by now. I've ran you through it. Look at day 2 of 4, and you can see that recording and go through Craigslist. It's 2 parts to that, not only the recording, but another email, and that separate email says in the subject line, is your business still for sale? And that's going to be the one that you send out to the business owners on Craigslist if you follow those instructions. That's a dynamite piece of material for advertising, but understand this. You can't use a business email address to approach them on their business email address. I guarantee you it'll go into spam, junk, promotions, and updates. Now again, if you send more than 500, the moment you get the 501 or 502 that you've sent total, let's say 100 a day for 5 days, which is what I recommend, not weekends, and you sent them at the right times of the day at 6:30 in the morning until 7:55 in the morning, and the other time of the day is 1:30 in the afternoon until 2:55 p.m. in the afternoon. Those 2 time slots, again, 6:30 in the morning until 7:55 a.m. in the morning, and 1:30 in the afternoon until 2:55 p.m. in the afternoon. Those 2 time slots are dynamite. Best time of the day to do this. Keep in mind that I live on the West Coast, and if I were going to advertise on the East Coast, I want to advertise in their time zone at that time during their time zone. So it might be that it's 6:30 West Coast time, which means on the East Coast it's 9:30. Now's not the time to do it. I got to wait until 1:30 runs around again, their time. So we back up 1:30, 12:30, 11:30, 1:30, 12:30, 11:30, 10:30 my time, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, because we're 3 hours apart from one another in time difference. So 1:30 their time, 10:30 my time, I'm sending it out to the East Coast. All right, so be cognizant of your times. But again, if you get the 501, 501, and you're not getting any results, immediately stop. Don't get in a point where your fight or flight response is kicking in and you're saying to yourself, God, I can't do this anymore. You know, this is driving me nuts. I'm never going to do this again. Reach out to me. Brett at mpbfunding.com. Just send me an email as though I was the business owner. Don't say, this is what I send them. That's not how you would approach the business owner. Send me the exact email you send to include the subject line on what you put in the subject line, and market me like I am a business owner, Brett at mpbfunding.com. Let me psychoanalyze it and see if I can't help you with that. Maybe it is going into their spam and their junk, their promotions and their updates, and they're not even seeing it, okay? And that's not a good place to be. I mean, you don't want to be in a situation where they're not seeing this stuff, okay? So that gives you a little bit about the markets. Now, again, as far as leads go, you can get your leads for free, for God's sakes, at Reference Solutions. If they don't have it at your local library, call a different library. Ask them if they have a resource or a research tool called Reference Solutions. And if they do, then sign up with that library. And you can use that library for free and get data off of there. And the beauty of this is you just follow my day 2 of 4, and the second part of that recording has to do with Reference Solutions. All right. And that teaches you how to sign in there and how to get that data on day 2 of 4. Now, no reason for you to hit me with an email and say, hey, I don't have day 2 of 4. I lost it. You don't lose these things. You knowingly click on it, delete it, and send it to your trash. But it's still sitting in your trash for up to 30 days unless you empty your trash. So all you got to do is go up to the search mailbox above your inbox and type the words in there. As an example, day 1 of 4, or day 2 of 4, or day 3 of 4, or day 4 of 4, and you'll find these days in there, sitting in there. You'll find your flyers in there too. You can type in day, FLYERS, or the other spelling, FLIERS, up there in the search mail bar, and you'll find your flyers, no problem, that came from Grants Division. Some of you get them, and they come in your welcome package. But most of you get them typically after Monday, and you get them from Grants Division separately, and not in your welcome package. But anyway, those flyers, now keep in mind, I always have people that say, why are we only limited to 6 flyers? Well, for God's sakes, you listen to day 2 of 4, and you hear me literally say that we work with 752 different types of businesses. So obviously, we have way more opportunity for you in regards to the types of flyers you could use. It's just my staff doesn't have the bandwidth to build you 752 different types of business flyers for all the specific markets out there. So if for some reason you have a niche or a niche that you want to go after, you can just reach out to Grant at mpbfunding.com, and his division will build you a different flyer template pertaining to the market you want to go after. Maybe you want to go after adult care facilities, or maybe you want to go after daycare facilities, who knows, or auto body repair shops. If that's the case, just make sure whatever you do, you send your flyers back. That's what it says inside the instructions. Send your flyers back with your request for change. So if you're going to try and get anything changed on your flyer to include your phone number, make sure, or address or email address, make sure you're sending your entire set of flyers back to Grants Division. They won't work on it otherwise, okay? So this gives you a little idea on how to sell these things. Look, I made it very clear to all of you in class, I don't talk about interest rates ever. In fact, yesterday was a great example. I talked to this morning's group. Today is Thursday, December 19th, my birthday. I'm 63 today. Anyway, the bottom line is I talked to my group this morning that I was teaching their final class, and I told them this lady came into the office yesterday. We've got a retail storefront here in Medford, haven't been very open for very long, for like 3 or 4 weeks. And she was at the front door, and she made the comment to me as I went to the door and unlocked it, because there's a lot of homeless in that area. We keep it locked. She made the comment to me. She said, I'm not coming in unless you tell me what the interest rates are. And I started laughing. I go, they suck. Just right there at that crossroad, boom. I just said, they suck. I looked her right in the eyes, and I said, they suck. And she just started roaring. I go, listen, if you're here for low interest rates, then go to a bank. Get to your local bank. And she goes, I'm actually here because I can't get a loan at the bank. And I love your honesty. Now, if I had $1 for every time I've heard that said to me, I'd have tens of thousands of dollars, maybe hundred thousands of dollars or more. Because people love honesty. I mean, you love honesty. I love honesty. Transparency. Bottom line. We hear these terms all the time. So the bottom line is, in all of this, bottom line is, there's no reason why you can't say to these people, these are not for everyone. If you get that out of the way at the beginning of the process, you won't have problems later if for some reason we deliver a contract to you and them and it does suck. Now, who makes the decision whether or not these loans suck or not? Who makes the decision whether or not these loans are expensive or not? We don't. We don't. So you might be sitting out there saying to yourself, if you've gone 21 minutes into this recording and say to yourself, well, who does? They do. They do. If they have a bunch of non-sufficient fund days, if they have a bunch of overdraft days in their bank statement, they're a very iffy company to work with. There are days where they don't have enough money. They're having money issues. And therefore, we're in a situation where during those days, we probably won't get paid back. Okay? So if we do take risks with them, which we do, you can plainly see we go up to 7 days out of just 20 to 21 days total where the business is open, because they're typically not open on the weekends, and those are not billing days where money comes into their bank account. So there's only 20 to 21 working days where they can deposit money into the bank and it shows up in their bank account. But if they are late, like NSFs or overdrafts on items and don't have that money available, they can have up to 7 different days where they're not able to make payments, where they've got non-sufficient fund days and overdraft days. Now, something I never talk about, piece of gum there. Smells great. I don't eat gum. I haven't eaten in 2 years, 2.5, 3 years. A lot of you know that I just started eating. But anyway, sorry for sidetracking. You know, a lot of people don't realize this, talking about marketing, but we love business owners that are behind in their rent. We love that. Behind on their lease payment, behind on their mortgage. And I've actually never taught this before in the last 3 or 4 years, but if you want to go down to the courthouse, you can find people that are late on their rent, late on their mortgage, people that are being evicted from their place of business, their rent, their mortgage, their lease payment. And you can approach them and say, hey, I may be able to save you. All you do is just write a little note, throw it in a black envelope. Hell, next thing you know, you've got someone that's like, hey, I'm 3 months behind. Do you really think you could help me? Sure, I can help you. All I need is 6-month bank statements and your most recent pay or 6-month bank statements and the application filled out and signed and dated, and we're fine. And we'll get you an answer today, if not tomorrow. If you like what you see, you'll move forward. So anyway, I brought a guy up here recently, Monday morning of this week, which would have been 4 days ago. Today's the 19th of December, so 18th, 17th, on the 16th of December. Brought a guy up in the Monday morning meeting. Some of you may not have been able to get to that. And what I did was I questioned John Vo about where he was getting all of his business. Make sure you go back to December 16th, Monday morning eye-opener call, and listen to that and where he's getting all his business, because he's only been with us now for Monday was his first week. So he's been with us now about a week and a half. And today, of all things, and he's brought in 8 files. And today, of all things, he got an approval, and it looks like we're going to close here any minute a $100,000 loan for him or one of his business owners. So if you get a chance, make sure you pay attention to what he's doing for marketing and what he's saying, so you get another take on it other than just my own. But anyway, So I was going to talk about how to sell, and I was going to talk about, what marketing techniques to use. Now, other marketing techniques out there, you've got what they call these bandit signs, and I can tell you these bandit signs work like $1 million. What are they? They look like a realtor sign that you see these square signs with a wooden post or 2 wire posts hanging down, and it's got, Caldwell Banker on there, or, Stassens Realty, E.G. Stassens on there, or whatever the company is, Remax on there. But rather than that, what you can do is those companies will make those signs up you single-sided, and that's all you want is single-sided, because what you're going to do is you're going to put that facing people at an intersection. So they come up to a 4-way stop, a 2-way stop, and there's your sign on the right by the stop sign, hammered into the ground, or on the left in the island. I used to love to put it in the island. That way people wouldn't steal them too quickly. If you do it by the stop sign, there's people that are walking by that may kick them over or steal them, that type of thing. But those bandit signs work great. I had about 3,000 of those to 5,000 of those out at any time in Portland and Gresham and Oregon City and Milwaukee and Sandy, Oregon, all those places, Vancouver, Washington. And I'll tell you, they work like a charm. And those people typically are in a situation where, they're impulse buyers. They're in their car, they're impulse buyers. And they're really not people that have a lot of questions. In fact, very few of these people really have a lot of questions. I think that the primary reason why people have questions, quite frankly, is because we have so much to say because we're trying to sell them on doing this, as opposed to just tell them what you do. So again, don't be afraid of these people in the event that you're in a situation where you get asked a question you don't know the answer to. Just tell them the truth. Just say, hey, it's a good question. I haven't been asked that before. I'm brand new. Or it's a good question. I don't get asked that very often. Let me get a hold of my management team and get back to you. And then pull back. Don't say a word. Just go silent. And the next thing you know, what you'll find is a very forgiving audience that will actually say to you, you know what? It's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Really, they don't have much to talk about. I can tell you right now, if they're talking to you, they're interested. And like I've said in class before, if they're filling out an application, they're interested, by all means. So, I see these guys online, these gals online, he, she, they online, and they've got all these techniques. My God, it's how to overcome objections with merchant cash advance, all these techniques. And it's like, look, man, I could tell you something. I do this every day, all day, on the days that I'm engaged, while I'm not having maybe family issues or, issues personally, or issues I'm dealing with the business. And I can tell you right now, folks, the short and sweet and to the point is the key. And at the end of the day, make it as powerful as Ralph Waldo Emerson in your sentence structure. So again, you walk into an ice cream shop, you find the nearest person who works there, you just shove the flyer right in his, her face, he, she, they's face, and you start in, you point at the logo and say, my name's Brett Martin, I'm with Mom and Pop Business Funding. You can see here, we specialize in unsecured working capital for ice cream shops. We go up to $1 million and close these loans in 1 to 2 days, oftentimes the same day as the application. And I simply wanted to leave this flyer with you, and that way you have my contact information at the bottom here in the event you ever need any working capital. You're not saying, would you like to do a loan? Now, there's a high likelihood she's going to interrupt you, he's going to interrupt you, he, she, they are going to interrupt you and say, I'm not the owner. They always laugh. They always giggle. They get sheepish. They put their head down. They're embarrassed. Because in their minds, they're a subordinate, they're lower, they're lesser ranking, they're inferior to the manager. And so what they do is they just say, hey, I'll introduce you to my dad, or hey, I'll introduce you to my uncle, or my aunt, or my brother, or my friend, or my boss. And they go introduce you, which is great. You're not going to get that type of introduction, and you're not going to get that type of service if you don't treat them with respect. What they're going to say to you is she's not in right now, or he's not in right now. And I tell you, I've had people who've changed the way they broach or approach these situations, circumstances, these types of businesses before, especially going door to door, and say to me immediately, the very next business, I was talking to the business owner, Brett. You're absolutely right. And there I was for 2 weeks. You know, it's almost like trying to start fire with 2 sticks versus a blowtorch. Your method being the blowtorch. So anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful day, all of you. Closing in on the end of the week. Finish the week strong. Keep in mind, you had a plan this week. Execute that plan. The week is not over. You have until tomorrow evening. Today is Thursday. Get out there. Get moving. You know, if this is a different day that you listen to this, look at your week. Ask yourself, is it Monday? Is it Tuesday? Was it Wednesday? Am I already bonking? If you're already bonking, get plugged in somewhere. You know, go somewhere. Get plugged into something inspirational, motivational. I mean, you see these people talking, whether it's Goggins or Delwater or Carnegie. I mean, everywhere you look, you seem to see an influencer out there like Tony Robbins, you know, and you can just get a quick injection from someone like Bob Proctor, who just recently died. But you can still go to his site on Instagram on the feed, and the family's still feeding it, you know, and get this information where, you know, maybe it inspires you or motivates you or gets you back on track to what you intended to do that day or that week. Because nothing on the face of the planet is going to send you into disharmony more than setting out to do something and then not following through with it. So peace. I want to thank you if you've listened this long. I hope you're having a wonderful week. And can't thank those graduates enough that are going to graduate this afternoon that were part of this class. And your most recent graduates, I can't thank you enough for being on our platform. If you need help, reach out to your manager, reach out to myself and my team. We're there for you. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. One thing I want to remind you of is this. You're not here to get. You're here to give. You got to take your brain and rewire it. You're not here to get. You're here to give. If you give, you will get. You're not here to get. You're here to give. So you're here to give them a hand. And at the end of the day, that helps you. Okay? People who are looking to get something end up in a situation where they rarely get it. People who are willing to give end up constantly in under circumstances and situations where they end up getting. So make sure your mindset is, I'm here to help you meet your needs and wants. I'm here to give you help with your needs and your wants. At the end of the day, you get your needs and wants met. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye now, everyone.